Hey everybody, this is the Fourth here, and in this video I want to talk about a few different things that you can do to improve your trap drum beats. So this video is for anyone who kind of knows the very basics of creating trap drum beats, but feels like their drum beats aren't quite where they want them to be. Maybe they just sound a bit dull, maybe they don't really fit with the other elements in the tracks that they're making. Or just in general, if you kind of know the basics of making a trap drum beat, but you're not really happy with the drum beats that you're making right now, hopefully some of the tips I mentioned in this video will help you to kind of bring up the quality of your drum beats so that they just sound better and so that you're a little bit happier with them. So the first tip I have for you is to make sure that the rhythm of your drums somehow fits with the other elements in your track. So this means that your drums either need to play with the other sounds in your track, or they need to play off of the other sounds in your track. And this is something that might take a little bit of practice to really get used to, but once you do, I think you'll find a big improvement in the quality of your trap tracks if you haven't been doing this already. And I know a number of people probably do kind of make the drum beat separately than the rest of the instrumental, and then they just kind of put them together and assume that it'll work. But that doesn't always result in the best sound. The way that I personally do this is I will come up with my melody or chord progression or whatever, but I'll come up with that first, and then I'll really write my drum beat to my melody or to my chord progression. So I have a couple examples of my drums, working with the other elements in a track, and I'll just play those through. So here's one example right here. So you can hear in this track, the 808s and the drums kind of play with those chords to really make everything work together. Those chord stabs are playing right here, and basically the kick and the 808 hit at the start of that, and then the snare hits at the end of it. And the snare kind of almost silences the chords in a way. And hopefully you can just hear how those are, really working together to build a complete product rather than the drums doing their own thing and then the chord hits doing, their own thing as well. They're all working together. So another example is this track right here, especially if you listen to the hi-hats in the drop. So listen to the melody and listen to the hi-hats and listen to how basically the hi-hats kind of dance around, or they dance with the melody. So I'll play that and you can hear it.
Yeah.
So hopefully you can hear that. Hopefully you can hear how the way the hi-hat is playing, really kind of follows along with the melody and kind of makes things a bit more exciting in a way, rather than just kind of constantly playing a hi-hat as you might if you didn't really think about this. And I just think that adds a nice touch to it. So there are a ton of different ways that you can have the rhythm of your drums kind of go with the rhythm of the other elements in your track. And really, it just is going to come with practice. So if you have trouble, working that out right away, don't get too hard on yourself, because really it just comes down to practice and kind of thinking about how you can set up your drums so they either play with or play off of the other elements in your track. And if you want some more ideas of how to kind of do that, I definitely recommend listening to different tracks by your favorite artists and really paying attention to how the drums are complementing the other sounds in the track, or alternatively how the other sounds in the track complement the drums, but just in general how they work together to create one full track. And this isn't something that you always have to worry about, but I would say whenever you have some kind of defined rhythm in your melody or in your chord stabs or whatever you have, then it's definitely a good idea. But sometimes if you have a really simple or maybe a really legato sounding kind of instrumental other than the drums, then you can kind of do whatever you want a bit more. So an example is in this track right here. If you listen to the other sounds that aren't drums, they kind of act as a metronome almost. And so because they're so simple, they don't really have a super prominently defined rhythm. It allowed me to really do whatever I wanted to with the drums and have the drums really drive the track in this section. So I'll play that and you can hear that. So hopefully you can hear that in this example, the other elements are really simple and really act as a metronome in my opinion. And so, the drums I was really free to do whatever I wanted with. So it's not always going to be the case that you can, let the rhythm of your other elements kind of guide the rhythm of your drums. In some cases it will be more like this, but whenever you can, try to at least think about it and decide whether you need to have your drums kind of complementing your other sounds or vice versa. So next up, I want to talk about your kicks and your 808s. And in my opinion, one of the best things that you can do with your 808s is to tune them and kind of change the pitch of the different notes that they play to add a real 808 bass line to your track. And I mention this because I hear from a lot of beginners that they kind of just play the 808 on one note throughout the track, and that gets a little bit boring in my opinion. I think it's really nice to have the 808 changing pitch and kind of doing some fun stuff with that, because I think that really kind of makes the beats more interesting, maybe more danceable, and it just kind of breaks up the huge bass because it's playing different notes and it will impact you differently on the different notes as opposed to just constantly playing one note. So you've already heard a couple examples of this, such as right here.
Yeah.
And this is something that I do in a lot of my tracks. Here's another example.
Slide.
And you kind of heard that in this track as well. So the way in which you change the pitch of your 808s is really going to be up to you. It's, again, something that's going to take some practice and some getting used to, getting familiar with. But sometimes you can let the melody be your guide. You can maybe play the same notes as the melody in some spots, or just notes that go well, like different intervals compared to the notes of your melody. Or you can even just play different strong intervals based on the key of your track. Kind of like the 3rd or the 5th or the 7th. But really it's going to come down to whatever sounds best to you. In the case where you have a chord progression, such as in this track, you can really let the chord progression guide you, and I think that's the best way to do it. So if you listen to this, the 808 basically plays a bass line that goes along with the chords in this track. So you should be able to hear how that 808 bass was, following along with the chords. And just like the previous tip, this isn't something that you always have to do. In general, go with whatever sounds the best. For example, right here is a track where, to me, it just didn't sound quite right to change the pitch of the 808s. And I thought it worked really well with just kind of using the same pitch for every 808 hit. So there definitely will be some cases where you don't really need to change the pitch of your 808s. But in my opinion, most of the time you can do at least a tiny bit, even if it's just for fills or just a little bit of flair every now and then. Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. If you thought it was helpful, please be sure to leave a like and maybe a comment if you have any questions or requests for future videos. If you're new to the channel, I encourage you to subscribe and have a look around. I've already uploaded a bunch of tutorials, and I try to release new ones every week. I also do my best to keep things pretty organized so that you can find what you're looking for a bit more easily. So thanks again guys for watching the video, and hopefully I'll see you next time.